世界のみんなとつながろう Bridges across world communities.
Hello and welcome to Bridges Across World Communities, sponsored by NIA, the Nishinomiya City International Association. My name is Thelma.
Oh, and I'm Floyd. The purpose of this program is to assist English-speaking residents in the Nishinomiya area by providing useful knowledge for daily living and important information for disaster prevention.
And this program is broadcast on the second and fourth Saturdays of each month from 12 noon to 12:15.
This month, we'll talk about ways to protect ourselves against the coming influenza season.
We'll also talk about using the 119 emergency phone number in case of fire.
And our guest is Mr. Jason Hockwell-Jones, originally from the UK, but now living nearby in Asia.
提供は西宮市国際交流協会です。Hello, Floyd. How are you doing this month?
Hello, Thelma. I'm doing pretty good. You know, now that the weather's cooler, I'm feeling much better and enjoying a lot more time outdoors. How about you? How are you doing?
Well, it's autumn, my favorite season, and a time for seasonal delicacies like new rice, sanma fish, persimmons, pears, chestnuts, and various kinds of mushrooms.
And don't forget new sake.
And with all these delicious things to eat, I keep gaining weight. In addition to the corona fat I've picked up over the past several months.
Yeah, I really noticed that.
Hey.
Okay, look, enough of this chit-chat. You know, maybe we should move on to this month's topic. Okay. So with the new coronavirus pandemic still in full swing, we're now heading into winter and the worst part of the flu season.
Yes, and I'm concerned for my family and myself and wondering how we can prepare for this year's flu season.
Well, you might want to consider getting a vaccine or a flu shot.
Yeah, and that sounds a good idea. And are flu shots even available here yet?
Yeah. The vaccination program started in Japan on October 1st, but with priority given to those aged 65 and older. The influenza vaccine is to prevent elderly people from becoming seriously ill, and it's believed it will reduce the risk of death by about 80%.
And what about us youngsters under 65 years old? Can we be vaccinated, Floyd?
Well, us youngsters are being asked to wait until after October 26th. However, it is recommended that healthcare workers, people with underlying medical conditions, pregnant women, and children from 6 months old to second grade get vaccinated as soon as possible.
But I've heard that some clinics require appointments beforehand, so it's best to call ahead, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
And what about timing? Will it be soon enough to prevent getting the flu if I wait until after October to get the vaccination?
Yeah, that's a good question. They say it takes about 2 weeks from the time you receive the vaccine for your body to produce enough antibodies. And the antibodies last for approximately 5 months. So, you know, with the peak of the flu season occurring from late December to early March, it would be best to get the vaccine by mid-December at the latest.
Oh, I know. I don't know, but I'm still a little worried about waiting that long.
Yeah, well, apparently there's no need to rush out and get the vaccine right away. But, if you're concerned about it, you should talk to your doctor.
Okay, but what should I do if I have flu symptoms? It seems so difficult to tell the difference between coronavirus symptoms and influenza symptoms, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. First of all, again, you should call your doctor and ask for advice. He or she has a history of your past visits and treatments and will be able to help you make the correct diagnosis.
And what if I don't have a long-time family doctor?
Well, in that case, you can contact the city's health center for consultation and medical advice. Their number is 0798 260567, and they're open every day between 8:45 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Is it true that so far this year's influenza outbreak is much less than last year's?
Yeah, and it's one of those rare bits of good news we have. Now, according to a government report issued on October 2nd, there were only 7 cases of influenza nationwide for the week of September 21st to 27th.
That's almost nothing,
yeah,
right?
it's like hard to believe. And because during the same period last year, there were 4,543 cases.
That's a huge drop. What happened?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say exactly, but one reason could be the drastic reduction in the number of foreign visitors coming to Japan. But probably the biggest reason is because of the preventative measures so many people are taking on a regular basis against the new coronavirus.
Okay. Of course, social distancing, right? Wearing a mask, washing hands, and gargling are all good countermeasures against both the coronavirus and the flu.
Yeah, that's right. And, exercise, adequate sleep, a well-balanced diet are also important ways to fight off the flu.
Yes, and is there some place I can call if I have more questions?
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, for medical issues, you should contact the city's health center at 0798-260567. But, if you have more general questions, you can call the health center at a different number, and that's 0798-262240. And they're open from 8:45 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. So we're back with Jason Hochwald-Jones.
Good afternoon again, Floyd.
Now, last month we were going through our interview. We talked a little bit about you coming from the UK, going to Australia, and then I think we left off shortly after you met your wife, 2005.
Yes, indeed.
And then you moved to Japan in 2006.
Yes.
You moved fast.
Yeah, we move fast. Got to be opportunistic when something good arises. You've got to grab the opportunity with both hands, I guess. No, it was certainly a positive move and the start of an adventure.
Yeah. I always ask, when there's mixed marriages, how do you get along with her family? How does she get along with your family?
Yeah, that thankfully has been a very smooth process. I guess in my personal situation, because my in-laws live, a little further away, we don't have an enormous amount we don't have a daily interaction with them or anything like that, and they're quite happy to give us our space. So on the occasion that we do see each other, we always seem to get along pretty well.
How did you end up living in this part of Japan?
Well, originally I was in South Osaka, and then we moved over to this area in search of options for schooling for my daughter, because we were looking at that stage to maybe hopefully give her some grounding in English, as we knew that the Japanese was well and truly covered.
So you're, like we said earlier, you're in the Yoshida area.
Yes.
And that's a good. That's, from what I know, that's quite a nice area. So the schools must be pretty good in that area as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we're very happy there, and we've settled well, and certainly we had the options then, sort of between, I guess, Nishinomiya and Kobe. There's a number of, or when I say a number, not a limited number of international schooling options, but we ended up with our daughter at St. Michael's in Kitano, which was a really positive experience. She had a great time there, and then finished off a year in the local elementary school, and now she's at a Japanese junior high school.
How was that transition from St. Michael's is English language, isn't it?
That's right, English language based education, and it certainly had its challenges. Of course, like any young child, I guess once they develop a friendship group, it's a tough transition as well, and certainly the learning styles and style of education is quite different.
And I guess she'll be going to junior high soon, I guess.
She started junior high this year.
How's that going?
That transition's gone really well. We're very positive about that.
Do you want to say hi to her?
Yeah, hi Arisa. How are you, darling?
So we haven't talked much about what kind of work or hobbies or that kind of stuff. What do you do?
Yeah, well, principally I trade stock markets. That's what I've been doing for many years, and I do a little bit of consultancy work for a confectionery company as well, which is quite interesting. What kind of consulting would you do for Well, principally I was sort of engaged by the owner of the business to look at new opportunities externally outside of Japan. So I guess playing to my strength, which is not Japanese, and looking offshore for potential new opportunities. That's an ongoing
No, I've set aside 2 or 3 minutes for you to give us all your best stock tips and financial advice.
Absolute disclaimer.
What should we do? What should we do?
Be cautious. That would be my best tip.
Yeah. No, are you trading with a company or are you on your own? How does that work?
I'm a self-directed trader. So yeah, trading my own book.
So you do this from home or?
Yep, almost exclusively from home, which comes with its challenges too, of course. Yeah, the old home office, but I guess everyone has to get used to that in these times.
Yeah.
Face-to-face contact becoming less and less, isn't it?
I mean, do you do much contact with people like through Skype or those kinds of programs?
Yeah, I certainly talk with people. I'm probably not a big user of Zoom nowadays.
Yeah, right.
I was a Skype user, and more probably, if anything, maybe FaceTime.
So you've been doing this for years, so you've been prepared for this coronavirus thing of having to work on your own. Right?
Yeah, well, from that perspective, I guess it hasn't been too big a shift, but still, I certainly wonder what it's certainly thrown the cat amongst the pigeons, hasn't it? For many.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about it, but I am pessimistic about where things are going. So
yes,
but let's not talk about that.
yes. We have to be positive.
Yes,
half glass full.
Now, do you plan to stay in Japan?
Certainly at this stage, that I anticipate that. We made a kind of an attempt to break away about 2 years ago, and then had a last-minute change of heart, and so now we're pretty committed to.
Why do you think you were thinking of moving at that time?
Oh, I think probably part of it was to do with our daughter's education. Not knowing she was in that age of transitioning between elementary and junior high, so it was probably an opportune time from that perspective if we were going to start a new life in Australia.
Now, your daughter, she must have Australian or UK.
Yeah, she's got dual citizenship. She does. You're right. She actually does qualify for both British and Australian nationalities, and I believe with the Japanese, at least until they're 18 or so, they don't have to make that decision, do they? 18 or 19, I believe you have to give up if you want to retain your Japanese citizenship.
Yeah, I think they better stay quiet about it.
It would seem that would seem to be the.
But I guess with those, the option she has for going to university, which is kind of nice if she has the Australian or
absolutely,
English.
That's certainly on the radar for us. Is where depending on how she goes at school and how she progresses, the potential to finish her education in Australia is certainly there.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're pretty settled here, and it sounds like you've made quite a big. Good life choice coming here.
Yes,
so
I'm certainly very happy.
I want to wish you the best of luck, and thank you so much for joining us.
You're most welcome.
And next, we'll get you back here for some stock tips.
Okay, Floyd, we'll wait.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank
you.
防災情報です。
We're now entering the relatively dry season from autumn to winter, that time of year when fires can start more easily. Thelma, do you know what to do if you discover a fire?
Of course, I'd shout fire or kachida as loud as possible to warn other people.
Yeah, that's a good start, but let's go over what you should do after that. First, call 119 immediately. This is the number to call in case of emergency. Now, when you call 119, the first thing you'll be asked is if you need a fire engine or an ambulance.
That's right. In Japanese, they'll ask you, kaji desu ka? Kyūkyū desu ka? In case of fire, you should answer kaji desu.
Yeah, then tell them your name, location of the fire, any nearby landmarks, and your mobile phone number.
And if you're calling from inside the building where the fire is located, get out immediately.
That's a real good idea. Now, for us foreigners who don't speak much Japanese, the Nishinomiya Fire Department has a multilingual interpreter service. If you make an emergency call to 119, they can set up a 3-way conversation between you, the fire department, and an interpreter.
And this service is provided in English, Chinese, Korean, Portuguese, and Spanish, and is available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So even if you don't have much confidence communicating in Japanese, if there's an emergency, don't hesitate to call 119. It seems like the COVID-19 situation is not going to subside anytime soon. we must continue to do what we can to stay healthy.
When you have to go out, please avoid the 3 C's: closed spaces, crowded places, and close contact.
Wear your mask, wash your hands, and gargle.
Lastly, if you need any help, don't hesitate to contact NIA at 0798-328680 or send an email to nia@nishi.or.jp.
提供は西宮市国際交流協会でした。
Stay safe, everyone.
Have a nice weekend!